And we are streaming to most platforms, it looks like. I want to start out with a picture here as we come on the air for your 8:45 update. A couple of minutes late, and I do apologize for that. Wanted to show you this, and at the bottom of your screen, please make note. This is from, I call him a legend. He is very humble. But Peter Forrester in Smithville, Kentucky. Couple of homes destroyed and cars you can see flipped on their hood. So this is in Kentucky. I'm not sure exactly where Smithfield is, but we've certainly had our fair share of tornado warnings just off to the west, and you can see that we've got significant damage out across the area there. A big part of the tree is missing, and I think he's got another picture here on this particular post that he put out way off in the distance there. Let's see if we can get it zoomed in. That's a destroyed structure there. So that's a pretty significant tornado, and you can see some tree limb damage there as well. But the thing about tornadoes, they're very isolated, but a large area is under the gun for this type of damage tonight. So we need to be aware of that. So just to give you a heads up, it's Peter Forrester. You can check him out on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now at Forecaster25. And I'm going to be posting his Venmo and all that information because he does allow us to share with courtesy, and if I can support him in any way. So he's a great storm chaser, and he's out there in Kentucky tonight. But we've got our own bad weather happening right now. And let's see if I can pop up something. There we go. This is a look at the bigger picture. And let's size this back down. And I've always promised myself one day I'd have all my sizes correct. But I think this is more of a breaking situation. I've almost got too many sources. But we're going to start out with the big picture so we don't get too confused. So this is the bigger picture here. You may hear Dot the Weather Cat in the background. Those lines that are sticking up, that's lightning. You can see we've had PDS tornado watches out all day and the kind of maroon shading there. And that one tornado warning that's in effect for eastern Kentucky there near Harlan, Kentucky. That's just over Pennington Gap, right across the Appalachia, Big Stone Gap, Cumberland area in extreme southwest Virginia. These storms have been hugging the past hour or so. They've been hugging the Virginia-Kentucky line. We've also got a report of damage in and around the Tennessee area from that same cell, or one of those same cells. So we can see special weather statements that are up for that area. And just to show you, I mean, we've got a plethora of tornado warnings also in effect, in severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Ohio. And the reason we mention that, these are not moving, the Ohio storms are not moving our way, but we do have viewers across the country nowadays, believe it or not, especially on our YouTube channel. And we've got a threat for heavy rain and flash flooding. And we've also got more special weather statements and high-end severe thunderstorm warnings. And what that means is we're going to have damage similar to a tornado in some of these storms. I mentioned that first wave it moved through was in a line and produced a whole path of damage. That was almost like a derecho that we had earlier this morning in West Virginia. Considerable damage now. Cambridge, Ohio, down through this area of Ohio. We've got numerous reports. Let's see. Debris and trees down on the road. This is in Ohio. We're just trying to kind of check out what's going on there. Amateur radio confirmed the tornado earlier in Ohio. We've got another report of a funnel cloud. And I wanted to show you what's been happening. Also, our neighbors in Tennessee have been hit. We go back in time here and put this in motion. You can see that we had confirmed tornado earlier this evening out across just near Wartburg, going through not quite Oak Ridge, north of Oak Ridge, going through northeast Tennessee there, the Middlesboro and Kentucky So I'm going to read you that storm report. This is not current, but we had a tornado on Highway 27, and then the big part in Morgan County, Tennessee, heavy damage reported to a funeral home there. So we've got some considerable structural damage going on, and crews, I'm listening to the scanners out of that area. Those cells have since moved out, but more activity is off to the west here. So until we get this whole system through here, we're not going to be out of the woods until probably in the Virginia area until the early afternoon hours of tomorrow. The system is wound up, and we've got the front that's still stationary over the Roanoke area. And if I pop on the temperatures here, I'll make them a little bigger so you can see them. You can see it's 48 near Winchester, 61 out across the Shenandoah Valley. We're still in the 70s out across the New River Valley, and the air is also very soupy. Dew points for this time of the year, pretty high. I don't think these are right. Sometimes when this updates, it hiccups on me. So let's let that new run of dew points come in before we show those. But just to tell you, dew points are around 60. Temperatures, again, range from the 50s and the 70s. We're still close to 80 in Martinsville and Danville. That is soupy air, and whether it's night or day, it doesn't matter when you have dew points. Here they are in the 60s and to around 60 this time of the year. That's pretty significant. So I think that will continue to at least fuel some heavy storms tonight with some gusty winds for us in the local area. It does trail back down across Alabama, where they are no stranger to severe weather. They had a tornado earlier in Athens. That's near Limestone, Alabama, Limestone County, reported by a TV station there. And the Storm Prediction Center is watching the Birmingham area for this area of storms developing just to the southwest of Birmingham. You can see Nashville, some straight line wind, and again, that's snapping trees out across Tennessee. We've also got some large hail out there as well. The one tornado warning I think I've got in effect right now is the one I was just showing you right there near that 64-degree dew point. That expires in 18 minutes. And again, that's just to the west of Pennington Gap and Cumberland in Kentucky, in the coal fields there near Harlan. And that's for, there's a track on it going off to the northeast. We're going to do something here and show the I want to keep our bigger picture here because it is snowing on the backside of the system. We're going to have some high wind and some much colder air behind all this by the time we go into this time tomorrow, going into later parts of the week into Friday as well. But let's head on over to our Viper technology, because that's what we're paying the most for, and that's what we have that no one else has. And it's not just a marketing thing. It is a total lifesaver because all of this data is proprietary. You have to pay for it, and TV stations, a lot of TV stations don't even have this. I know in the Roanoke Valley area, I think only one has it, and I'm not sure they have the actual high-res storm data. But this is the same tornado warning, and you can see the hail track from earlier near Harlan in Tennessee, or Kentucky rather. Everything moving up to the north and to the east. We had a lot of tornado warnings just not too far away from Canton, Ohio, between Columbus and Canton. And now if we zoom in, you can see one still in effect right now to the northeast of Zanesville. In a second, I'll show you the different models and what they foresee. But you'll notice these icons are going to continue loading. Those are the Barron or the Viper storm tracks. So you see everything there moving up to the north and to the east. And as I mentioned earlier today, as this activity continues to kind of progress through the area, if we get a rotating storm, what we're going to start to see are storms that move more east. They will curve up to the right. So the ingredients are all still in place. This is a large and complex system. You see a second wave of low pressure there near Jackson, Tennessee. That's going to move up to the northeast. We're going to see temperatures remain where they're at tonight, I think. In some places, they may actually warm up. So checking out our right monitor here. And this is showing you that one lingering tornado warning. Again, this is Wise County in Virginia. Here's Norton. I'm listening to the scanner network out through this area, and I've had a few reports of trees down and some debris in the roadway, a few car accidents as well, but nothing. I can't find any of the major stuff. I think the crews are probably already out there, so they're not having to dispatch much right now. But as new tornado warnings come out, and I expect that tonight, we're going to have probably throughout the night many other areas throughout the Mid-Atlantic and the Tennessee Valley seeing this activity. But if you just happen to be watching me in Kentucky, right over the line, or if you're a Southwest Virginia native and you're watching from Northeast Tennessee, maybe Churchill or Kingsport, Tazewell County, Grundy, this area, I'd be watching some of these storms coming up. Hopefully they'll congeal into just regular old rain, but the wind shear is still there. So that one lingering tornado warning is about to go away here. But Big Laurel down 221, Putney and Tots seeing that one tornado warning, and I don't think the rotation is quite as impressive as it was earlier. We're looking at this from Jackson, I believe. If I can get my velocity to load here. We were looking at that from Tennessee. Let me see if I can pop up Jackson. Kentucky. And you may have a slightly better or different vantage point. Sometimes this becomes more clear, and you can see now you're looking at greens because the radar is up here to the north. So you still do have some circulation indeed right through here. Near Big Laurel and Divide. I have full screened this, and I don't know if it wants to respond or not. There we go. I wanted to draw for you, but it would be easier if I used this tool to draw. So again, we're in eastern Kentucky. This is the Virginia state line, Southwest Virginia. Here's Kentucky. And we'll move this over so you can see what I just drew. All right, so eastern Kentucky, still looking at Divide, Big Laurel, Highway 510. And here's your circulation. The radar being up here, looking down. So this is going away from the radar, and this is wind going toward the radar. And the whole storm is screaming north and east. So the high-res velocity is trying to capture radial velocity, but as the storms move at a different angle to where the radar's at, it doesn't capture the entire wind. We have a way of trying to see that a little better. It's called a storm relative velocity, but the data is not quite as good coming out of the radar. It's not quite as exact. It's the pixels are a little bigger. And you can see now the National Weather Service has put out a special weather statement for that area. That's just been issued. That's why it's flashing. So here's the regular radar. And we'll get rid of our annotations here. And again, these are storms that are coming into far southwest Virginia. They will be entering West Virginia. Once again, West Virginia is going to end up with a flooding problem, I think, some areas. But you can see they're right up against Pound and Cornettsville, Fleming-Neon. This is a special weather statement that could, again, become a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning. Back here at home into the Roanoke Valley area, we'll go on back out here and check out our local radar out of Blacksburg. And as that loads, again, we note that it's 64 in Farmville, 61 at the airport in Lynchburg, 63 in Hot Springs, 76 in Martinsville, 77 in Danville. Winds are out calm or out of the south to southeast or south-southeast, and then more activity there is moving in. The good news, what I'm seeing across West Virginia right now, looks like it's mainly just some moderate rain, but we do foresee some cells that will continue to develop into the overnight and early morning hours of tomorrow. I want to show you some different maps here. This is a little easier to read. There you see our area with just some rain around, but if you get all across eastern Kentucky, there's your action, there's your activity. This was earlier when I was watching the storm there and that produced some damage in Fayette County. Nicholas County was on the northern side of that supercell. They had 1.75 inch hail earlier at 4:37. 4:32, we had a structure damage. Somebody trapped inside near Highway 60. That's in Fayette County, West Virginia, just to the west of Greenbrier County. The storm moved across Greenbrier County and then dropped more hail in Allegheny County, Virginia. So I did mention those two areas. And you may have seen in my promo that I said I'm putting out about a 5 to 15 minute lead time on many of these storms. And that's just because I've learned all of these radar products and I studied them, and I actually took online courses to know how to read them. And when you do that, you can actually tell a lot of times when there's going to be a warning issued before a warning actually comes out. So that's the advantage that you see there. That tornado warning is now expired, but we still have a little bit of circulation there near Cumberland and Leatherwood. So watching eastern Kentucky quite a bit. Look at all the old storm reports here out of both the morning system that moved through and the early afternoon. That was around noon, 11 a.m. to noon. And the second supercell that moved out of that area. So what's to come? Let me show you a forecast real quick. And we're going to load it up here. And I'm not going to get too detailed. We'll use just COD, which is a free site, weather.cod.edu/forecast. I like this for my quick look at things. We'll pull up the HRRR. The HRRR's done the best job today with this. I'm finally starting to see internet bandwidth issues. Let's see, I think I'll get rid of a couple of these. I wondered if I would today. All right. But I've got a few other providers I can go to if we need to. All right, this is the ZROZ HRRR just now coming in. So it's got scattered activity through about 10 o'clock, 10, 11, 12. Watch out. Georgia, upstate South Carolina, and again, West Virginia, still getting those storms and maybe some kinks in any lines that develop. There's a line there near Interstate 77 and 64, forecast there around 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. And from 5 a.m. on, we could see some redevelopment across Roanoke and Southside Virginia, especially into the early morning hours of tomorrow. So the bigger picture, there you go, more to come. I don't see anything right now that's standing out at me as really, really bad. That's some good news. But we're going to have to watch all of these storms into the overnight because they cannot be trusted in an environment like this. I'm going to quickly show you before I sign off here some of the parameters that's and some of the information out of West Virginia as far as power outage. 144,558 was in power area. Again, they covered this area. Charleston's without power. They've got 53,000 without power in Charleston, West Virginia. And a handful here in our local vicinity, but it's not too bad compared to out west. This is mainly an Ohio Valley system that moved through the area, and it will then move east. As it does so, some of it is weakening and congealing into regular old rain. And within that, we could still see Low pressure re-energized the atmosphere throughout the night tonight as new areas of low pressure move in. Here's the latest surface analysis. I'm going to load this back up because it's from this morning or this afternoon. I did want to show you that we are still seeing a threat here. So this is the WPC forecast for 2 a.m. You can see the front on our doorstep and the potential for severe weather there in red. That's the Blacksburg and Charleston office indicating, mainly the Charleston office indicating that. You can see the wedge still in place. Where these two fronts merge is where we could see enhanced rotation. So anytime you've got a front near the area and a threat for tornadoes, yeah, that's concerning even in the overnight hours. And you can see they merge, they occlude. So it's like pushing a zipper down. The zipper would be the occlusion. This is where the two fronts meet. It meets from top down. This is called the triple point. And if you remember the Stoneville tornado in 1998, Stoneville, North Carolina, down around Eden and that area, the first one, the one in 98, was really bad, and it was caused by a similar setup. Now, the front was down there for that event, but it's further north. So I think all of West Virginia needs to be on guard, in our area as well. This is between 2 and 8 o'clock in the morning while you're sleeping. I've got times posted when I'll be doing these streams, and of course I'll jump on if I need to. There's some more storms and even some snow that's going to wrap around this system, actually turning to snow in the mountains as we get into Thursday and a Thursday night and even into early Friday. Now it's spring snow, so it won't stick or anything except on the high tops, the ridges, but across Grayson County and getting into the Greenbrier Valley of West Virginia, it's going to get really windy, gradient wind, and we're going to see temperatures take a big tumble, maybe up to about 50 for highs, and probably wind chills into 40s and 30s, with actual air temperatures into 30s in the mountains. So it's a wound up system, and then we've got another one on the way that could also be kind of stormy by the middle of next week. I'm meteorologist Jamie Singleton. We'll have more on this developing situation as we go through the rest of the night. Again, there's Viper. These storms are still packing a punch, and Viper still indicating that we've got some high wind, at least, with many of these storms that have yet to make it to the area. They'll be cycling overnight tonight. That means they may ramp up and turn severe, and they may also weaken at times as well. So the next update's coming up at 9:30. I took a while for this one. I'll do a quicker update at 9:30 if we don't have much going on. But share the post and make sure you pay attention to the time so you're not looking at old information. I've got the scanner on here, and we're watching everything very carefully. And if we see anything, or if I see anything, I say we, all of my personalities, I guess, we will let you know, or I will let you know. There you go. There's the bigger picture. I want you to check out my Patreon page if you feel the need. I'll be trying to update that throughout the night tonight. A lot of you on Patreon got a bit of a heads up that this was coming in, and you understood why, because I was able to show you not mainly computer models. I was actually showing you actual meteorology from the system. One thing I did want to do, and we'll do that at 9:30, we'll look at the severe weather parameters and why the severe threat is continuing.